Good morning, Year 5. So, as you know, this week was Community Week in school, and we're going to continue with Community Week from our home learning. So, today we're going to look at how we can help our local community, and we're going to be answering the inquiry question of should we support our local businesses. So, each year group are looking at how they can help the local community, and in Year 5, we're going to look at supporting local businesses. What are the drawbacks and what are the positives of doing this? At the end of the lesson, you're going to be able to outline points that you could debate in your afternoon briefings with your classes and with your class teachers. So let's get started. Firstly, we need to define what a local business is. So the definition of a local business is any company or shop that provides goods or services to a local population, and that would then be considered a local business. So for example, on Chamberlain Road, up the road from the school, Pelican News is an independent service, an independent company, an independent shop that serves the local community, and that in turn defines it as a local business, or we could also say an independent business. The opposite to local business or to independent shops would then be high street chains. So a high street chain, the definition would be in the business world, a chain would mean a group of stores. So if you can think of a chain that you might be holding in your hand, it would have more than just one link. So there are links or chains of stores that are put on high streets all around the country, all around the world, all around cities. These companies then possess a name, which is called a brand, and they adhere to similar corporate store policies, sell the same products, and are often owned by the same parent company. So for example, Gale's Bakery, you can see that on Salisbury Road in Queen's Park. You could see it on Portobello Road. You could see Gales all over London. On Chamberlain Road also. So there's the difference between Gales and Pelican News. Pelican News stands alone. It's on its own. It's independent. Whereas Gales is part of a chain of more than one shop that can be found across the country. For example, Starbucks would be another one. McDonald's, Tesco. You see these all on different high streets. Whereas Pelican, you just see it in your local community. So that's the difference between a high street chain and a local business. So on your own, for 30 seconds, you're going to just pause the video, and I want you to thinking of local businesses, what do you think the benefits of these might be? So just pause the video here for 30 seconds, think of the benefits of a local business for the community, and then we will go through some examples. Okay, so now we're going to look at the pros or the benefits of independent shops and businesses for the local community. So one pro or benefit might be there is often a bespoke or a tailored or a specialised service available from that shop or business, maybe with a particular link to that local area with unique products and services. So if a local area is known for something, maybe there has been an independent shop set up there, or a restaurant or a service that is tailored for the people from that community. Local businesses also pays and employs local people. That's really important for a community, that people have jobs in the community and local businesses can provide that for them. Also, when people shop in their local shops and businesses, it means the money stays in the local economy. What local economy means is the local business world to this area. So the economy, the money stays in our local economy, which helps businesses to thrive, to do well, and to succeed, and most importantly, to stay open. So you may have had some of those ideas in your head, there's also some more. By supporting our local businesses, we are supporting people and their brands. So you may know people that work in shops around here, and by supporting their local business, you're supporting them, and you're supporting their brands and their products. If many people support their local shops, the high street will thrive, and in turn boosting employment and reducing crime. So a thriving high street is something that's really important to help people have jobs, to make people feel safe, and to have a bustling, busy community. Also, many businesses are family run, and by supporting them, businesses survive and they offer routes into employment for generations to come. So often family run businesses, they will pass the business along to their offspring, to their children, who in turn will pass it along to their children, and it stays in the family for a long time, and producing employment for families. We've plenty of pros. Also, locals who support their local enterprises, enterprise is just a synonym of business, they often form really close relationships with workers, leading to a sense of loyalty and relationships. So you might maybe think of your parents or even you, if they go to the hairdresser or the barber, they probably go back to the same barber, the same hairdresser over and over again. And if these are locals, then we can form close relationships with them, we feel loyal to them, and we want to go back over and over again. And finally, many immigrants to local areas have established local businesses and communities, which promotes respect and tolerance, as well as offering unique and authentic services. For example, food, barbers, and many more. So what that means really is people that have come from other countries often set up restaurants to promote their own food. This in turn leads to respect and tolerance in the community, which as we know is a key British value, and it then offers unique and authentic services for people. For example, in Kensal Rise we have lots of Brazilian restaurants, Indian restaurants, and really authentic Italian restaurants, which in turn promotes our respect and tolerance and provide us with a service from around the world. So they were the pros, or the benefits of independent shops and businesses. I'm now going to give you another 30 seconds and I want you to think of the drawbacks of local businesses. So the drawback is maybe a negative. Are there any negatives to shopping in independent shops and businesses as opposed to high street chains? And I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think of that. So you can pause the video here and unpause when you're ready. Okay, so let's see if you came up with any of these ones. So some cons or a negative of shopping in independent businesses and shops may be that they often do not employ many people, or it is limited to family members and friends. So if you think of Tesco versus Pelican, Tesco is a big company, so it's a big shop. It can employ many more people, so more people can get jobs from Tesco as opposed to Pelican, as maybe only one or two people might be able to work there at a time. Also, if you have an independent shop, it might often be linked to family members. Like I said, that is also a positive, but it can also be a drawback. Also, not all products or services may be available from a local business. For example, if I need a specific type of sugar for baking, I may not be able to find it in the local corner shop, which is a bit of a drawback. I may need to go to more of a bigger high street chain like Tesco or Sainsbury's. These products and services can often be a little more expensive also than chain businesses. So independent shops, because they're relying on their local community and they're not part of a parent company, they may often need to charge a little bit more than high street chains in order to be successful and to survive, which is fine, but it can also be a little bit of a drawback for the customer or the consumer. So there were some drawbacks. There really aren't many. Local businesses are really important. So now we're going to go on to high street chains and discuss the benefits of a high street chain. So you may be able to think of what I talked about there about the con of an independent shop and be able to flip that into a benefit of a high street chain. So once again, I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to think of any benefits of high street chains. If you have people around you, if you have family around you, if you have siblings, maybe you'd like to discuss that with them too, to be able to get a bit more interactive like you would be in the classroom. Okay, so pause the video here and I'll be back with you in 30 seconds. Okay, so some of the pros, the benefits of shopping in a high street chain. Like I said, they're often cheaper for the consumer as opposed to bespoke tailored services that may need to charge a little bit extra. For example, a pint of milk could be up to £20 cheaper in a Tesco store than in a local corner shop. Also, customers know that they will get consistency in terms of the quality of the product from high street chains. If I shop in a Tesco in Kensal Rise, I would expect the products to be the same and of the same quality as if I shopped in a Tesco in Wimbledon or in somewhere in Southwark or anywhere in East London. The Tesco's, Sainsbury's, all those shops should have consistency in their quality of product, and that is a definite benefit, that no matter where you go, you should get the same high quality service and products. This can sometimes be riskier than to try independent shops where you're not really familiar with the product, or there could be a little bit of inconsistency in terms of quality. Also, high street chains have the potential to attract people from different areas. So the picture on the right is a picture of Kilburn High Road, and Kilburn High Road has many chains. For example, Aldi, TK Maxx, and in turn this attracts people from Queen's Park, Kensal Rise, Brondesbury, West Hampstead, all the local surrounding areas to Kilburn High Street because of these high street chains. So high street chains can have a huge impact on the local community as they attract people from different communities to come and shop in their area. This, by having high street chains, can also support local shops to thrive, as while people are in the area, they may choose to visit a range of independent shops and not only just chains. So while you're shopping, you may decide to pop into another shop as you're there. So it can benefit the independent business as well as the high street chain. Also, big chains are far more likely to employ a larger amount of people than a small independent business. Like I gave the comparison earlier, Tesco, or in this case Lidl, can often offer employment for far more people than small local independent businesses. Also, Lidl, as well as Vodafone and many other companies, offer graduate programs for people leaving college or uni as a route into employment. So these big business high street chains offer programs for people who have left uni and are ready to enter the working world, and they can support them with that. So we've now looked at the pros and cons of independent shops. We've looked at the pros of high street chains. The last question I'm going to ask you is, can you think of any drawbacks or any negatives of a high street chain? Why might a high street chain have a negative? Why might it have some cons? So you can think of that for 30 seconds and then you can press play again. Okay, so let's see what you thought of. So high street chains can have a couple of cons as well. Lots of chains have standard and just general products and services available, which can be really positive as it offers consistency, but also this can be a negative as people do not get the same bespoke, tailored and unique service that some local or independent businesses can offer. So their consistency is definitely a positive, but maybe some people are looking for something a little bit more targeted to them, and maybe high street chains don't quite offer that all the time. To be successful, chains must appeal to the masses. That means chains, to be successful, if they're going to go into every single high street across London, across Manchester, across England or across the UK, they need to appeal to lots of people to be successful. So if they're going to be able to open that many shops, many people are going to want to shop and spend their money there. Therefore, they need to provide a general service or product that will please the majority of consumers, whereas independent shops can aim to target local communities or certain people. To be successful on the high street as a chain, you would need to please the majority of customers for them to shop in your service. So, if we had been in school, we were going to do a debate in classes. We're still going to do this in our afternoon briefing, so please bring your work to that. I'm going to explain the task now. The motion is it better to shop in local businesses than high street chains? So it's up to you. You were going to be assigned this in school with different teams, but you're just going to do this on your own, and it's up to you. Do you think it's better to shop in local businesses, or do you think it's better to shop in high street chains? Now, I've presented points. You've thought of your own points, probably more than me, often better than me. So you will be able to present your own unique points to the class later on today. So I'm just going to model one very quickly about what this might look like. So an adapted version of this sheet is going to be on your home learning page. You would have had 5 in your team, so I'm just going to cross that out. You are the speaker. So speaker 1 is your name, so I'm just going to write Mr. Murphy. Then you need to take one side. Writing down points for both sides isn't really what happens in a debate, so I want you to really put yourself on one side of the argument, whether you agree shopping should be done in local chains or they should be done in independent businesses. So if I'm making a point about local chains, I may want to write down independent businesses. I may want to write down they provide local and unique services. to their local community. Another point you might want to argue is that loyalty and relationships are formed and developed. A really important point, I think, for this argument of supporting local businesses is that it can promote respect and tolerance. And then you can develop each of these points either on your sheet or when you're speaking in front of everybody this afternoon. So there's just 3 examples that I've made. You can either agree with these 3 or develop even more, and we look forward to hearing those arguments later on. So that was for independent shops. Maybe you would also like to argue, you prefer to argue, that chains are better. So maybe some points you might want to write down are more consistent, in terms of maybe quality of products. So example, quality of products. They're also can attract people to your local community. Remember I gave the example of Kilburn. Which would lead them to shop in independent shops also. Also, they offer programs. Some of them offer programs for students leaving university. So you can make your points in this section of the sheet, whether you're for or against that we should shop in local businesses. And then you'll notice also on the sheet there is space here to make counter argument notes. Now leave this blank until this afternoon when you're talking with your teachers, and while people are making arguments that are the opposite to yours, you can make notes here and be able to raise your hand then in the briefing to be able to argue your points back again. So that can be left for later, and you can write those down as the debate takes place in your afternoon briefing. So I would encourage you to go and make 3 or 4 points that you can decide on and that you can argue in your briefings. Then I just want you to come back for 2 minutes and press play again on the video, and we're just going to do a quick reflection of what we've looked at today. Okay, so I hope you've all your points ready for this afternoon. There's just 4 questions here that I have for you that you are to reflect upon independently. You don't need to write this down, it's just for yourself. So what do you now know about local businesses and how they compare to high street chains? Has your opinion changed based on the debate you've had or will have with your class? So maybe think about that one for later. Are you going to behave differently as a result of what you have learned? And if you have any further questions, you can ask those to your teachers in the briefings or on Seesaw also. So thank you for watching. I look forward to hearing your debates this afternoon. And I really wish we could have done this in school, but circumstances dictate. But we can still do the best we can in the afternoon briefing. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.